Welcome to the Blood Brothers podcast. Here we are to talk about crime with author Rob Parker.
Hello there.
And author Chris McDonald.
Hello there.
And myself, Sean Coleman. And in the guest seat today, we have Vic Watson, who is, according to her screen, a self-confident moonwalker. Vic, please tell us who you are.
I didn't choose it. It chose me. I'm a writer, creative writing tutor and host of Noir at the Bar, which is now currently working as virtual Noir at the Bar while we're all stuck indoors.
It's brilliant, though, virtual Noir at the Bar.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep it? I have to ask you, are you going to keep it post-lockdown?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I'm so excited.
Not every week. Not every week. It's killing me. I mean, I committed to doing one a week until restrictions on social gatherings are lifted. So even if the lockdown is relaxed, I don't think we'll be getting into pubs anytime soon. So basically, I'm just, I'm going to be doing this a while, and it's pretty hard going doing one every week. Oh, I can especially when somebody gets you hammered at the after party and you've got to get up the next morning with your kid.
I don't know if that was Rob Parker, but I'm assuming it was.
It wasn't not Rob Parker, but it was also Neil Broadfoot and Effie Merrill.
Oh, for goodness sake!
When did you stack out on that one, Vic?
Pretty early on, to be fair.
Oh dear!
Like, what time were you there till? Because.
Well, I mean, considering this is virtual, I mean, I was in my living room until 2 a.m. with Neil Broadfoot and Effie. But
Shut up.
No, seriously, yeah. But I can't. I mean, all I remember had such a great time. And then, I know, where were you guys?
Oh my God!
I had such a great time, and then it was just like, oh, how can we carry this on? You know, and because it was like, and seriously, I'm not going to, it sounds like I'm sugarcoating it, but I'm not sugarcoating it at all. This is like, it's the highlight of the week. It's the virtual Noir at the Bar and listening to all these other authors, and you're getting some amazing names involved as well.
Mm.
Oh, every week just got some great writers, and we've got some mega guests coming up soon. But I have to keep it secret because basically people who subscribe to the newsletter are always the first to know who will be reading the following week.
Right.
Yeah, but that's also really nice to have that sort of weekly, like, right, who have we got, what's coming up, what's coming up, who's coming on. And so last week you sort of announced, like, right, this week we've got Derek Farrell. I was like, yes, I love Derek Farrell.
Yeah.
Sorry, Derek.
Everyone loves Derek Farrell. Why wouldn't
I know,
love
I'm
Derek
such
Farrell?
a fanboy.
It's impossible not to love Derek Farrell. That's the problem.
Absolutely. Those
are they're just brilliant books, and I love him, and I love the way he reads them. So you're just like, yes, I'm in. So
he's just such a lovely guy as well. So what's not to like?
I've never met him.
He's great.
He's eschewed every single one of my advances. I'm sure he's lovely. I just like the way he reads.
He's a delight.
He is genuinely a delight. Yeah, I think there's a personal happiness to have you on the podcast tonight, Vic. From my angle, definitely, because Vic won't. I don't know whether you'll like me saying this or not, but she was one of the first people in the crime community to reach out to me when I was first getting going 3 or 4 years ago, and huge admiration and respect for what you were doing at the time, but it's only grown consistently as time has gone on. And yeah, your place in the writing community is absolutely ironclad, rock solid. So, from me, thank you for everything you've done for me, because I wouldn't be what I'm doing and doing what I'm doing now if it weren't for the chances you gave me to go to Noir at the Bar.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Of course you would.
No, it is. No, seriously. Seriously. No, because it gave me the confidence. It gave me the self-confidence to read in public and also to mix with other writers. Because when I first went to the first Noir at the Bar that I'd been to, I think it was Noir at the Bar Newcastle, it was either 17 or 18. And I didn't know anybody there. And I walked in and I introduced myself to Vic, and I was starstruck all over the place. Like, No, literally, I was like choking without. Like Ian Skewis was there, and he is. Oh, I just love Ian Skewis.
And he's amazingly as well. He's fab.
I know. He read his own book, didn't he, on Audible, Murder of Crows?
Yeah.
It's a fabulous book.
Can you imagine having a voice good enough to read your own book?
Yeah.
No. I know.
Without everybody you know going, oh my God, you're the most boring person I've ever heard.
No, and this is even more important on this podcast because you guys have really nice voices, and I just sound like a northern twerp.
Oh no! In return for you blowing smoke up my arse, Rob, I'm going to do the same to you three now. I adore going on my one permitted hours walk a day with my headphones in, listening to three of you. I just love it. Honestly.
So kind.
Even though your laugh woke my sleeping baby up the other day when I was on the walk, and I had headphones in.
And I do genuinely knock his laugh out. So what I love about editing this podcast is that Rob's laugh has exactly the same waveform all the way through, so you could just pick it out.
There's another.
There's another, yeah. AI can just go, drop it down, drop it down, drop it down.
So do you like edit my laughter?
I just not.
Did you not see that on Twitter the other day?
The speakers.
Did you? Oh my! Oh, there we go again. I don't want to get.
I sold the whole Twitterverse.
Did you?
No, I mean we love your laugh. Your laugh must remain as genuine as it is, but it blows the speakers every time. So we just.
Oh wow!
It wakes babies, Rob.
It wakes babies
through headphones.
Well, I did get told this, I said to Becky, sorry, that's Mrs. Parker, when after that late night with Neil and Effie and yourself there, she said, oh, you had a good night, didn't you? And I said, like, why? What did you hear? And she just said, oh, that. Yeah. I was having a good evening.
See, because Chris does a really gentle little Muttley-like giggle in the background.
I like it.
Yeah. And I giggle like a girl, and then you do that explosive and then trickle. It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
I realise all
explosive and then trickle. Nobody should ever do that.
Imagery.
Most of my contributions, I've realised, are agreements where I just say yeah a lot.
You are the quietest of the three.
Yeah, you stitch us up like mad, Chris.
I what?
Yeah.
You stitch us up like mad, Chris, with tradesman's lingo.
Silent assassin.
Sean, question number 1. What's a honey hole? Open us up to an entire... Unbelievable.
I've got some good ones today as well.
Okay, speaking of...
God.
Let's roll it in. Let's start the game right now.
Oh, really?
Go. Why not? Why not? We've got a Geordie in the house. Let's see what you got.
So, fine. The game is called Geordie Lingo.
Good luck, Rob.
But I've made it easier this week because I've got a contextual usage of it.
Okay.
So,
this is like child genius. I like it.
Should we go Rob versus Sean again, and Vic can be the expert?
Okay.
Yeah, because what I like to see is the expert's blank face on every single one. I've never fucking heard that before. I've never heard that.
I'm hoping this time I've picked legitimate termages. Termages isn't a word.
Termage is great.
Termage isn't legitimate for a start.
That's a terrible termage infestation at my house.
There is. There always is.
Right.
That was a Geordie term, was it?
Yes, and Vic, I apologise if I...
If you call national outrage. Right.
If I mispronounce any of these words, I apologise.
I'll keep you right, don't worry.
You can keep me right. I should have given you them before, shouldn't I? And you could have done this bit, really. Yeah. Right. Sean.
Good luck, Rob.
Sean, number 1.
Yeah, yes, dear.
Geet Walla. There's a Geet
Walla.
There's a Geet Walla queue at Asda.
Oh, there's a very long queue.
Yes. Vic, is that something you've heard?
I've heard geet. I would just say, well, I wouldn't say it, but I've heard people say there's a geet big queue.
Right.
But I've never heard Geet Walla.
There's a Geet Walla queue. I've heard that. I have to confess at this point, my vested interest is that I shared a house with the Geordie for 3 years. And he was...
Oh. He says after he gets a coin.
He was known as Geordie Steve. So.
Is he any relation to Library Steve?
Yeah, he's his younger brother from Newcastle.
Fantastic.
It's where Library Steve's name came from.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, he was a lovely man.
I'm ready. Come on.
Cracking writer.
Hinny.
What?
Hinny. Give us some scran, Hinny.
Honey. As in, no, we're not going down the honey hole route again, are we?
No,
give us some scran honey, as in...
I know it.
Mate?
Not mate, no. Sean, should we pass it over?
Yeah.
It's in reference to the female of the species. It's effectively like honey, right? As in my love, my dove, my little fish.
Pet.
Your pet. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So we're back to Sean, 2-0 up.
In your face, Rob Parker.
Come on, Parker.
I am getting smashed up here.
Hoi.
As in...
Oh, no, it's not your turn, Rob.
Hoya hama here.
Yeah, that's the exact...
What would you say?
Vic, you say it?
Hoya hama here.
Is that, hello, young man, I'd love a ham sandwich.
God, that was the best impression of me I've ever heard. Hello, good sir. I would love a ham sandwich.
Good day,
hello, fellow.
Trouble you too much.
Hello, cherub. Is that not right?
Oi.
Yeah, Rob, it's not your turn.
Rob Parker,
Is it not my turn? Oh, sorry.
I've already taken your point.
I don't think I've jeopardised my chances of getting a point, so don't worry.
Hello, good fellow. I'd love a ham sandwich. What was the word that I missed?
Hoi.
Hoi.
Hoy.
No idea. No, I'm passing it to Rob for his erudite.
Oh, is it like a like? Hiya, you there? That man.
Hoy. Throw.
Hoy what?
Hoy throw.
Throw.
Hoya hama here.
Oh.
Throw hammer over here.
Oh, so because I would always say hoik. If you hoik something.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. I've not heard that.
Oh.
Yeah, I would always hoik that over here. That's the throw, but I've never shortened it to hoy. But most of these terms, most of these classic Geordie terms come out of Anglo-Saxon. So if you drill them down, we've got similar roots.
Genealogy.
I've got to add.
I love it.
I've got to admit, though, I have never sounded more Geordie in my life than when I've said, Hoya hama over here. It is embarrassing.
I read. Brilliant.
It's lovely. I love how you knew straight away, Vic, and you were on it. Like, Hoya hama.
Right? Yeah.
Is that
on it like a car bonnet?
Yeah.
Exactly that again.
That was the term on my phone that I've got. Is that like a famous
Hoya hama out here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because in Newcastle you just have to throw hammers. So what else is there to throw?
Constantly.
I mean, coal, obviously. Right, have we got another one? Because we're on for the level. It's Rob Parker's. If he gets
I'm ready.
Yeah, right, Rob.
Yeah.
Clamming.
I didn't like the way you laughed there, Vic. I don't like...
I am starting to think I've not got the same definition here.
No, you have. I know you have. It just, I hate that word so much.
Why is it? I mean, is it something that's going to embarrass me to say out loud?
No.
Oh, good.
See, very Geordie again. No.
No. Have we got... Right, what's the contextual usage?
The definition here says... Hinny, I said I was clamming.
Yeah, Hinny, I'm absolutely clamming.
Is that right? I think it's either one of, by crikey, darling, I'm famished. Or... Is that right? Yes, excellent.
Perfect, well done. By crikey, darling.
No, I don't why do I want to translate them into that voice? I've got.
I don't know. I don't know why you go Geordie to Sense and Sensibility and what.
I don't know. I'm hungry.
By crikey, darling, I'm famished.
Shall we have high tea?
Shall we? Because I'm
a spot of cake. Because I'm clamming. It doesn't sound the same when you do it in posh, does it? Oh God, clamming. I'm clamming.
Oh. It sounds like it's pretty grim, that really. Yeah.
Right, so we're 2-2.
Should we have a decider?
First, I think I'm losing. I thought I was on 2-1.
No, because you got my equivalent to the honey hole. Yeah, so we're 2-2.
Get in there! Come on now, Rob.
Right, I'm gonna say the decider, and the first person to jump in gets it.
Vic's left.
No.
We have that effect, Vic. I know.
Was she doing a mime of what the next one is? Right, okay.
Right, ready? First.
Are we just jumping in? First
person to shout it out, yeah.
Okay.
I can mute off from here.
No, okay.
Doylem.
What now?
Chris, where have you found these?
National Tradesman.
The Screwfix website again. Doylem, as in...
You're a pure Doylem, you like.
Idiot.
Yes!
There you go.
Oh!
I'm not at all competitive. I'm not at all competitive.
Where does Doylem come from in that? Like, what's
I have no idea. I don't know why you're asking me.
No, I'm asking anybody.
Your language.
Doylem.
I try to distance myself from that sort of terminology.
Don't we all?
Marvellous.
There we go.
Well,
my family are quite Geordie, but like Doylem is something else. I think some of them would say clamming, and I definitely say hoy. Also, gan on the hoy is go on the lash.
Go on the piss, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Will you go and enjoy a couple of baby shams?
Sherry.
Oh, Farquhar McFarquhar. Over there is...
That's the Pernod Tarquin.
Who are you?
I don't know what's happening.
We did actually tell my dad and had him going for a good 24 hours that we were going to call our son Tarquin. I can't believe he fell for it. It was amazing.
Rob trying not to spit his drink out.
Oh, I know, because you know what's down here? All the plugs are next to me here. We're going to have a major power outage if I... Oh, what was his reaction to Tarquin?
He didn't believe me, but when my mum was... Because my mum was in on it, she was like, I've tried talking to her, Keith, but, you know, if that's what they've decided, that's what they've decided. And then my husband, who was on holiday at the time, we got him on the joke, and he was texting my dad saying, I'm really sorry, Keith, but it's what we've decided.
So you had everyone
and it was like my mum and dad were like in the supermarket a day later, and I thought it kind of all fizzled out, and he'd gone, what do you think about that? It's a bloody disgrace, isn't it? He's going to get bullied in school.
Is that your son's nickname now?
No, not at all. I'm surprised nobody's brought it up, actually.
It should really be that. So, Mum, why do you call me Tarquin when my name's actually short? Well, there was this funny story, and it was really funny at the time.
Well, the problem is my dad has been lying to me like all my life.
Oh, God.
And I keep finding things out that have just been like, don't eat raw mushrooms because they'll kill you, for example. I was 26 when I found out that wasn't true. And then I was in Vegas on my 30th birthday, and we're in like a taxi or something, and my friend said to the taxi driver, who did you vote for in the election? And I put my hand on top of hers and said, you're not allowed to ask them that. That's illegal. And it turns out that it's not illegal to ask them who they voted for. not illegal to tell people who you vote for.
No.
But again, for 30 years, my dad had me on with that. So
this was revenge.
Deserved, I feel.
Yeah. Big time.
Did he do? Now I want to know them all. I love this.
Just
this is the perfect thing that you
them.
do to your kids, though.
Yeah, I'll probably take up the mantle when mine's old enough to understand the lies.
Anyway, we digress. Who won the game, Chris? Me.
You did.
Let's just celebrate that. Where's my medal?
Chris, come on.
Vic, I wanted to know more about Elementary v. Watson.
Yeah. About the blog or the
well, no, the website.
Okay.
Because I've known you as Vic since I've met you, but there's the Elementary v. Watson sort of online profile as well. I just wanted to know a little bit more about that, if that's okay.
Yeah. So basically, in addition to trying to write myself, I get no time for that. So but I run a proofreading and copyright or copy editing business, which is where Elementary v. Watson comes into it. I also run weekly creative writing workshops and one-off workshops and work with local libraries and things like that. So it's kind of my little business where I help other writers, and I've been really lucky. I've been running it since 2013. So 7 years, and actually it's the longest job I've ever had.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, to do that freelance is really, for that length of time and sustain it, is actually, it's not to be sniffed at. It's really tough.
No,
keep
and
generating those jobs.
It's just really lovely to kind of help people. So sometimes, particularly in the workshops, you get people coming along who've fancied writing for a long time, but haven't felt confident enough to even sort of say, I would like to write. And then it's lovely seeing them sort of flourish. So we've put out 4 collections of stories.
Oh, wow, cool.
And we'll have book launches and stuff when they come out. And it's great because there was one guy came who had never read aloud before, wouldn't even let his wife see his work, and then sort of 18 months later he was reading at our Literary and Philosophical Society in Newcastle as part of the launch. We do Halloween events every year, because my group are pretty keen on ghost stories, which is great. So yeah, we've also had a splinter group called the Elementary Sisterhood, where it was a collection of feminist stories and stuff. So
you got it. Oh wow,
that's a great title.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. That's so cool. So I'm really interested in. I did a Q&A with Avaiz Khan, and he was talking about how the stumbling blocks that people interpret before they actually get writing. And so when people come to you and they want to get writing but they don't know how to go about it, what barriers do you have to break down before you sort of free them up?
Yeah, a lot of it is. I think a lot of it is class. So,
wow.
I identify as working class, and I get a lot of people who've kind of come from working class backgrounds. I've got 3 degrees, but I'm the only person in my family to have ever gone to university. And a lot of people who come to me are they work in shops, they work in fast food, things like that, and they think you've got to be hoity-toity to be a writer, and it's they don't have that sense of entitlement that some people have. And so even just saying to them, look, if you want to write, it's also just someone giving you permission. So if I say, everyone can write if they want to write, go ahead and do it. And just having a couple of hours a week in a space where nobody's going to come in and interrupt you unless they're part of the group. You can read for feedback if you want to, but there's no obligation. And once people start hearing other people's work and sort of socialising with other people who want to write, it just builds on a confidence issue as well as all these other things as well. Because like I say, the thing, you've got to have an English degree or a master's in creative writing to write it. Absolutely don't. If you've got the ideas and you've got the drive, anybody can do it. And it's
exactly
really
that. It's sort of that thing where, like, with the publisher's hat on, you sort of sit there going, it's great that everybody's got an English degree, but can I get something authentic from somebody who doesn't have an English degree, please? Like, and so the book
something
that's coming
original.
out, the guy we talked to last week, he left school at 16. He became a builder. He's written a book. The builder is the main character. He's written a book since, The book is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. It's very funny. It's very well written.
It sounds great. I can't wait to read it.
Just because he left school at 16 and became a builder doesn't mean he can't write a book. I mean, God, you're just telling stories. And if you can stand in a pub and tell a story about what happened today and everybody laughs, you can tell a bloody story. So get writing, it's more difficult, but it's not impossible, and you don't need a bloody degree to do it.
No.
Even though we all have them, but
he was lamenting the fact that he felt like that story, the industry didn't know what to do with a story like that, wasn't he? And until he met yourself, Sean, who gave him a chance, so it's amazing that and now that you mention it, Vic, the sort of the perceived class issue, it's like, wow, that suddenly in my head is like, yes, of course. Because loads of go to lots and lots of schools, and I try to go to the more deprived schools. If I can do it, that's where I want to go. And they've never met anyone who's written anything, that kind of thing. And it's trying to show that you can do that. You can do that. It's open to you. And
because actually, that was what Matt was saying when so we did an interview for Radio 4 or wherever it was, and we were just running through the questions before, and like Matt said, at the school he went to, it's a massive school, and it's sort of like loads of boys, and he said the thing is if he said, I want to drive a van, they all said, oh, you're a bit of a dreamer, aren't you? As in, like, that was like, all right,
pinnacle.
Mate, really, you're pushing it there with your dreams. So his idea of saying, I'd like to write a book was just like, well, I'd write that, because he wanted to write comedy, and you just go, ugh. But it was, it's like, what's accepted in that school? And so I was at a school in South Africa where academic achievement was really pushed. And then I came to Newport, South Wales, and academic achievement was massively frowned upon, not by the teachers, but by all of your peers. And so you suddenly went from sort of going, must achieve, to like, better bloody not. Just to fit in, and then this. So for me, the class thing doesn't exist because I wasn't brought up in a class system. I was brought up in a poverty versus wealth system, but not in the British class system. And but I definitely understand, and like you, Rob, go and talk in schools where you see kids that have privilege, who I love a dystopian World War II drama, age 11, and you see kids, who are age 11 going, what's the book? And you're like, right, come to me. Let's talk about how you can be free and be creative and just write stuff.
And I get people coming to my workshops who are like, have retired from their actual day jobs, so they're in their 60s, and it's always burned inside them. They wanted to write a book, or
that's so lovely though.
They just haven't, and it's just so lovely that you can help people like that. It's we also get people who have got issues around depression and anxiety, people on the spectrum and stuff, and they're all fantastic writers, and it's just about giving them the confidence to not only write, but also build a writing network and a friendship network as well, which is just the best.
Yeah. I think that's really key. I think we all find it on social media, is that if you go to normal social media, it's quite destructive and punitive, but in book social media, it's very uplifting and supportive, and so people are like,
absolutely.
"Yay, it's your first book, woohoo!" And nobody is. Like for me, book Twitter is the place to live, because everybody supports everybody else, and it's really. So people support bloggers and people support new authors, and it doesn't matter if you've got 100 followers or 100,000 followers. So long as you're engaged in the community discussion and you're one of those people. And interestingly, I think that's kind of what writing should be more about. Just
sure.
It's about telling stories. Like the old Aborigines were very, like you're the storyteller in the tribe. He's the guy who does the herbs, and he's the guy who does the planting, and he's the guy who kills the animals, and you're the guy who tells stories. And like that's it. That's your role. Go tell.
Yeah.
And that's a lovely thing.
Vic, can I ask, how did you get into organising Noir at the Bar?
Basically, Graham Smith and Jay Stringer bullied me into it. No, in 2016, I saw that Graham, who runs Crime and Publishment in Gretna, had done one in Carlisle and Noir at the Bar. And I'd sort of said, I'm sorry, for whatever reason, I couldn't go myself that day. And I said to him, I'm really sorry. And then I don't even know how it happened. I was talking to him and Jay Stringer, and they were just like, you should really do one in Newcastle. The Northeast is full of fantastic writers. It's dead easy to do, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, why would I do it? And they were like, yeah, you could host it. And I was thinking, stand up in front of however many people and host them. And you've got to be kidding me. It is just... Like, I'm a huge introvert. I know a lot of people don't believe it, but I massively am. And I have terrible, anxiety about standing up and talking in front of people. But,
You never know it. You never know.
I know. I'm obviously a brilliant liar.
This is why you should finish that book.
Yeah.
Because the brilliant liar makes the great author.
Yeah. I've obviously inherited my father's lying skills. So then they were like, do it midweek because bars are just really pleased to have custom when it's quiet and stuff. And I found this great bar, which Rob's been to. It's got a really cool cinema room downstairs. And I just sort of said to them, I'd like to do this. And on the first one, we're coming up on 4 years in June, at the beginning of June. On the first one, basically all the seats were taken. And I was like, what's going on here now? What? So
I'm going to talk to how many people?
Yeah. What? Are you all going to listen to me? No. But now I'm kind of loath to switch venues because it's where it's always been and people are familiar with it and it's near the train station. But basically, we're kind of too big for it now. It's always full. We always have to get extra chairs, which is fab.
It's a cool thing, yeah.
It is.
When you did the one in February that I was lucky enough to read at, that was the first
in
one
Harrogate.
In a while. No, in
February.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
The one and it was the first one you'd done in a while, wasn't it? And you were wondering whether anyone would be there, and it was to the rafters. It was absolutely.
It was insane.
Wild everywhere. Yeah, it was mad.
There were people hanging on the ceiling, there's no other space.
Standing on each other's shoulders, like at a festival.
Seriously, it was amazing.
That's a cool thing, though, isn't it?
It's just literally unbelievable.
Yeah, and the atmosphere was incredible as well.
I did one last May as part of Newcastle Noir's Fringe Festival, and again it was really well attended. And then I was due to have a baby in July, so I was like, right, I'm going to take some time out. So decided in February, right, I'll do it again, see what happens. And I was driving into Newcastle thinking, nobody's going to come. I've left it too long. Why am I even doing this to myself? And again, because I'd had some time out from public speaking, I was like, what the fuck am I actually doing here? And then, like Rob says, you got there and people were just like, get out of my way, I've got to get in this room. Okay. And I was like, cool.
I had to convince, it was like one of those moments where I couldn't get, when I was trying to get in the room, they were people were on the door saying to me, no room, you're going to have to go. And I was like, I'm supposed to be reading in there in a minute.
Don't you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
No, none of that. It was just, it's good to see them. I'll just go to the bar and see them.
Rack me up a sherry, old boy.
Yeah.
You see this sign here, dear? That's my name.
No, there's none of that. But what you were talking about as well, there was that sense of community there as well. It's vibrant, and everyone is, next time you do one, Vic, I'm going to bring these guys along and we'll be in the crowd or whatever.
They can read.
No, we can't read. We've tried that before.
You're just there for the booze.
No, on Chris's launch, I made it. He said, "No, Rob can read a bit from my book." I'm like, "No, for fuck's sake, Chris. It's your launch. People have come to support you. They don't want to hear... I mean, I love Rob, and he's got a lovely voice, despite what he thinks himself. But they want to hear.
And he just read a lovely sex scene, hadn't he?
Oh yeah.
No, you made him read a terrible sex scene.
You know what he did?
Man,
he did a quiz, right? And he said, like about an hour before it started, it was about half an hour. He gave me the 4 A4 sheets and said, "Would you mind doing the quiz?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's absolutely fine, no worries." And then it was like question 17. Who won the Bad Sex Awards for this passage? And I had to read, and it was absolutely disgraceful.
It was terrible.
Went down a storm.
Yeah.
Fair play, Chris. Fair play. I admire that.
But then after...
In fact, fair play, Chris, because you did me big time.
Yeah. But then Sean was saying on my lunch, "Oh no, people want to hear you read." And then about a month later, he was reading something, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I made you read. It's nerve-wracking as hell."
That's but I was reading at the South Bank. I mean, if I told my 16-year-old me that I'd be reading at the South Bank, I'd have shat myself.
Yeah.
But I did call you and go, "I'm really sorry I made you read because I really don't want to read, and I've just spoken to my mum and she said, I'm really proud of you." And you were like, "Yeah, good luck. Hope you don't fuck it up."
Vic, what about your book? You write it.
Come on,
because the industry will swarm and support anything that you were to put out. So, what are you working on? What can we expect?
Is it the Zombie Wives of Newcastle?
It is not. It is not. It's the same thing that I've been working on for the last 10.5 years, Rob.
Right,
on and off.
Right.
Oh,
Excellent.
God. I've had short stories published in the meantime. But
I
started writing this as part of my Masters in Creative Writing, which nobody needs if they want to write, but Stupid here paid a lot of money to do one anyway. And then on and off, because
I've got one.
Yay!
Stupid is what stupid does.
Stupid poor people.
We got no money, but we got a degree. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
At least you won awards for your short story. She won awards for the piano.
Yeah, I'm not being daft, but it wasn't worth $6,000 maybe.
In the long term.
It's lovely to win, but started writing it. But in the interim, I've been poorly on and off. I've got an autoimmune disease, so I keep using that as a really good excuse. Then I had a baby, which is a cracking excuse because you're getting nothing done.
That's it for the next 18 years. You can use that one.
Yeah, but it's great because I started writing this novel in dialect and Geordie dialect, so they were all clamming.
Oi, clamming and
hoy and hammers.
Hoy hammer over here.
Around
everywhere, yeah.
And then I got some feedback saying it'll be difficult to sell, particularly overseas, and I was like, yeah, fair play. So I took it all out of dialect, and I'm onto the 3rd draft of it, but it's just getting it. I write, this'll blow Sean's mind. I don't write in a linear way. I don't have a plan. I just write. So now it's a bit like a patchwork quilt.
He's gone. It's music to our ears, this, Chris.
It is. It's perfect for me, yeah. Well done, Vic. Like in the mould.
Don't let him be a traitor. He sent me a plan for his 3rd novel.
Oh, did you?
Only because I've not signed for it yet, so I'm doing all I can.
Fair play.
Plan, you bitch.
Dance for me, monkey boy.
Exactly. That was basically... I haven't even read it. I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll sign you.
Go on, then.
That's not a contract. Wait. No. That's not a contract. I will read the plan first.
Agreement. It was a verbal contract. We all heard it.
Shit!
It's going to be edited out.
It says at the bottom of here the word beginning with R. It's recording.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I've just signed a contract with somebody called Johnny Mayhem. I don't know where Christopher McDonald is, but he's not on the podcast. It's Johnny Mayhem.
Johnny Mayhem's my dangerous twin.
Dangerous pen name. You know.
Does he do the thing with the kneecaps?
He's the one you have to watch out for.
He does.
Is he the latest signing for the erotica wing of Red Dog Press? What do we call it? Like Rouge Hound?
No.
You're the one that knows all about dog parts, aren't you?
I was gonna go either red dogging or red light, but whatever you want to, whatever you Rouge Hound.
Rouge Hound. I think, Vic, what do you think? I think if Red Dog had like a Bills and Moon offshoot, Rouge Hound.
Bills and Moon. I think it's Mills and Boon.
I think you should go for
Bills and Moon.
Oh, I thought you were doing it on purpose.
No. Did I say Bills and Moon?
You did. You did wrong.
Oh,
It's
Rob.
been a long day.
It's a long day.
Well, I mean, I believe Bills and Moon is not taken,
purpose.
so you could have Bills and Moon instead.
Yeah, Bills and Moon. There you go. You don't need my help.
Bills and Moon. Oh, bless your heart.
I mean, I was going to say go full French, Rouge, Le Chien Rouge.
Oh yeah, Le Chien Rouge. Sorry, that's right. I didn't mean.
So Virtual Noir at the bar the other week, Rob read an excerpt of one of his books, and we had full-on Cockney Rob, but now we've also just had French Rob. So
there is no version of Rob that Rob won't try. So I'm happy with anything.
One day Rob will find himself. And then
this is all. I'm just in my experimental phase. Really. Yeah. Oh, mon ami. Ooh. Why do we end with ooh? I don't know.
I don't know. Because you're a daft racist. I don't know why.
I know. Yeah, that's the worry.
It's like when you said you were going to go and get a Chinese to see if you could get.
I know. Right, Vic. I
didn't say it, Vic.
I said what I said is we're going to end the podcast. This has got to go. We're going to end the podcast because I'm going to go and get a Chinese and get coronavirus. And I didn't mean it because I was getting a Chinese. I meant it because I was opening the door to another person coming to my house to drop off food. I know, but I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
Neither Chris or I. It was the first one we did, so it was just the three of us. And we were like, oh, yeah, get a Chinese. Oh, no, I hope you don't get coronavirus from it. And then he suddenly went, no, I didn't mean that as racist. Oh, my God.
I did. It was just... It's because I was opening... It was right at the start of lockdown, and I was opening the door to another human being.
Well, I did actually have a question. Somebody was on your podcast the other week. I can't remember who it was who told you, like, a story Alan Bennett had told him.
Oh, Neil.
And you cut it out, and I'm just desperate to know.
Oh, well, we can tell you, but we're going to have to cut it out again.
That's fine.
I can't be involved in this.
Because it does genuinely offend. So Neil Richards, who told the story, was my lecturer at university.
Yes.
So I was 17 in my... because I left school early. I was 17 when he told me this limerick in my second year tutorial.
Right.
So, and Rob did laugh out loud, but basically panicked. So it basically goes like this. There was a young couple from Stroud, made love at the back of a crowd. A man at the front said, I smell just like that, not very loud. There you go. But it's better in Alan Bennett's voice. But obviously Rob can't.
Oh, in Alan Bennett's voice.
He can't hear the word. And Neil can
He can't hear the word.
Can't hear the word.
Is it over?
Yes, it's finished.
You don't like the word.
Well, no, it's. Oh, I mean, I was when he said it on the podcast, I was not expecting that whatsoever.
It's just a word.
No, I know, but I was like,
it's a beautiful description of a beautiful thing. I don't know why
just, whoa, you know. And I remember laughing out loud because I could not. Up to that point, we'd had like a lovely conversation. But then this happened. I was like, oh wow.
But you were the one who specifically asked me to request the limerick.
But I didn't know it was going to go that way. Because you said to me, just ask him about the limerick. So I was like, that'd be funny. And I think it'd be like, there was a guy from, Crew who went and had a poo, and, something like that. And I was thinking like, chuckles, toilet humour, chuckles.
No. It was the people from Stroud, that's the problem.
Can't go there ever again. That's that. What is next for you, Vic?
Finish my novel.
Sorry?
Oh.
Say that again. That was we did a serious segue then. What's next?
Oh, sorry. Were we all giggling still? I think. Sorry, I keep jumping in because I'm excited to know. I apologise.
You're so canny. I'm surprised Canny wasn't in the quiz, Chris. Canny.
I thought that would be too easy.
Fair play.
I'm like.
Oh, Rob, you're so canny.
Well, Tarquin, I think our rugger-bugger days are over.
What the hell's happened to you?
I don't know.
Who are you?
It's been a long day because in Lockdown World, I did a quiz, like a family quiz before this, and we had a few beers during that. So,
so you're pissed.
Bring it. Come on.
No, I'm just having a good time. Good day. What is next for you, Vic? What's coming next?
Well, I need to finish this novel. Oh, God.
Please do,
I have about 2 hours a week to work on this bloody thing. Anyway, I'm going to definitely do that. I've got Scrivener now, which I'm very much enjoying. It's very helpful when you're patchworking stuff together. And then I've actually already got my next novel in my mind. I've written a synopsis for it.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's actually more planning than I usually do.
Awesome.
All of a sudden you're a plotter.
Kinda. Virtual Noir at the Bar every Wednesday until social gatherings can reconvene in actual pubs. Raise a kid.
Oh yeah,
pretty important.
Very important.
I mean, he's doing all right, to be fair to him. Rob's met him. He seems all right, doesn't he?
Oh, my word. Well, apart from upsetting him the other day, we get on famously.
You didn't upset him. You just woke him up. It's fine.
If he could have seen your little smiley face, he'd have been very happy about it.
Tell him it's rubber. It's like pure rubber.
Oh, at the minute, Rob, you would have just totally gone for those cheeks and really gone for it. Yeah.
My man.
Finish a book, write a book. I've got a third idea for a chicklet novel, which I'm a bit disappointed in myself for, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
No, that's hugely commercial. Go. Do that one next.
Do it. Go. Anything.
What we need right now is more uplifting humorous.
That's fair.
Go, yes. Go. Right. Quick.
I can't promise humour. Come on.
Why?
Go on, just throw some of that. Throw some of that Geordie scran in, you'll be fine.
Listen to this. Something about a how in a claw hammer. That's the one. We need to.
What? Wait,
did I get that right?
Yeah. I could write a chicklet in Geordie dialect. Now
there you go.
Oh my God.
Oh, how man, I'm clamming for
stop
man
it.
over there.
Jesus, you might unwittingly say something absolutely fucking hideous.
I know. I thought that was how it would go. Well,
are we going to talk about books?
Yeah. I thought this is a book podcast, isn't it?
What are you reading?
Apparently. I've just finished watching From the Dark by Githa Lodge, which is the second in her Jonah Sheens series. And She Lies in Wait, which is, Rob has got it on his shelf. She Lies in Wait was the first, and that was really, 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 really good. I stalked her at Harrogate a few years ago to get a proof of She Lies in Wait, and it was totally worth the stalking. But actually, watching From the Dark is better. So I finished that last night, and now I'm on Neil Broadfoot's No Place to Die, which is the second in his series featuring Connor Fraser.
Ooh.
Is that the one you just read, or did you read the one after?
I read the one before.
No Man's Land.
I read No Man's Land, which was amazing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's really good. I think you guys were talking about it last week. The opening of this. I'm not going to read it because it's sex, basically.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I can't I've just read the first line again. I certainly cannot read that.
Oh, please read it to us in your Geordie. We won't keep it in, I promise.
No, because I hear this every week.
Damn it, I can't say that. What if you two say we won't keep it in, we promise?
I'm not making any promises I can't keep. No way. No way. Githa's readings are brilliant, though, aren't they?
Yes.
Fantastic.
She's a great reader. And was it this? It was the same one that you did, the virtual Noir at the Bar. She did Noir at the Bar in Newcastle in February as well.
That's right, yeah.
So she read the opening chapter, I think, from Watching from the Dark, and it is so creepy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it was great, yeah.
Another lovely crime writer.
I bought it because I got it from her. She put out a tweet saying, like, if anyone wants to buy it direct from me.
Yes, I saw that on Twitter the other day.
And she sent me the book plus a selection of truffles, which was a little added bonus.
I didn't get truffles when I bought it from her.
No, I know. I didn't get that either.
Special ones on
Well, she's obviously heard Chris's smooth tones and decided.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Are you that guy on the Blood Brothers podcast? Oh,
yeah. You're that one with that voice that your wife says is boring, but everybody else says. Okay.
Cool. What are you guys reading?
Chris, you're going to... Oh, you're
Chris,
not
I'm
doing
so
it.
Jealous.
The Thursday Murder Club.
How have you got that?
People love me.
Did Richard hear your voice as well and go, flipping out?
You know what makes me sick about this is that I used to work with Richard Osman. Have I got a copy of the book? Have a fuck.
I think I passed him in the corridor, when I was recording my episode of The Chase. I vaguely remember seeing him.
Were you on The Chase, Vic?
Yes, I was, my friend. Beat the Chaser.
Did you?
What?
Yeah, I did.
Who were you up against?
Sean Wallace.
Ah, he's my favourite as well.
Yeah, no,
he's my favourite too. I was delighted to take the money from him.
Did your team win?
Yeah, there was 4 of us. We won £10,250 each.
Oh man, that's amazing.
That's like Chris's whole salary. Including royalties from his book.
It's more than I'm making a year.
When was that?
2016. So I started Noir at the Bar in June. In the July, I recorded The Chase. Later on in the July, we bought our first house, so the money was really, really useful. And in the November, I got engaged.
Wow, good year.
Jesus, what a year.
And in the November, you'll kill me if I don't say this, in the November, I went to Buckingham Palace to see my dad get an MBE.
That is the year.
But at the beginning of 2016, I'd been made redundant, so...
Oh, but that's always good, because free cash is at home.
Yeah.
You actually silver lining that year to
Yeah.
Definitely. That's amazing. Wow. Royalty here, guys. Royalty.
For anybody who's just been made redundant, check out what you can do later in the year.
Go on The Chase, highly recommend.
Yeah.
So, Chris, how far into the Thursday Murder Club are you?
I'm only 2 chapters in because I finished Strangers by Callie Taylor last night. And,
yes.
So I intended to read a bit this morning, but I got 2 chapters in, and it seems really good, but my kids were a bit needy this morning, so...
As kids I want to be.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems really good.
Cool.
Nice.
What about you, Rob?
I am reading The Curator.
Ooh.
Oh.
Mike Craven's The Curator.
It's Craven's
Joe!
Which is and he... Oh, God, love him. He makes me sick. He's so good.
He's so good, isn't he?
It's
he
just
makes
like,
all of us
I love these characters. I love these characters. I love the world he's built. I love it's near to where I live. You know, like it's within an hour of where I live. And he's set this absolute blockbuster series there. And damn, he writes so well.
Yeah.
So, love you, Mike, but God damn it. No, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
I love you, but I wish I could be you.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It'll be you.
Yeah.
No, very
and
good.
he's a proper gent as well.
He's a true gent.
He really is, isn't he? What are you reading, Sean?
What am I always reading, Rob?
Submissions.
Brilliant submissions.
Oh, we need a submissions.
What are you reading? Fucking nation. But I've been reading them in the sunshine in the garden, so people have had maybe the more generous spirited version of me with a beer and some sunshine as I read. Okay.
And a doggy hammock.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a dog in the hammock. But that was edit read. So yesterday when I sent you the photo of me in the garden with the dogs in the garden, that was submissions read, and the dog in the hammock was second version edit read. So resubmission.
Ah, nice.
It's exciting times. It's exciting times. The only thing you get to read is things you're going to publish at some point. Maybe.
Lucky man, a lucky man.
Yeah.
Always one thing you go, whoa, no. No.
Oh, I had the question. It's like properly gone out my head.
Oh, there it goes again.
You know, the only question that came into my head is what my son always asks me. And he says, "Are you happy?"
Oh.
No, So yeah, when my mind went black, that's what came in. But I did have a question.
Oh, that's so canny.
Listen, Vic hasn't had her tea yet, and clearly,
Yes, we need to.
I'm eating. I'm clamming.
she's clamming for a scran. Come on.
Do you want to do one-star superstar?
Yes, quick.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Okay. So, big book from last year again.
Oh, I was pregnant and then looking after a newborn. I'm at a disadvantage here.
I was publishing Chris's book. I mean, Jesus, that screwed me out of the market for years. Right, let's have it.
Are you ready?
Give me a review. Let's see if I'm good enough.
Yes.
This ends amazing as well. So, the skeleton of this book belongs to Thomas Harris. All he's done is change character names and draped his own dismal plot around it. The similarities are really quite striking. Monster behind bars giving clue to the police about current crimes. Said police officer has hangover from previous crime. Sick perpetrator hiding in plain view. And an attempt at a breathless finale that is just fat and elderly. Really, write your own book. But then, so she's read it. And then, as well as reading, I also listened to it on audiobook, read by Christopher Eccleston. I know. A fine actor, maybe, but an awful reader. No attempt to breathe life into any of the characters. Monotonous and everything at the same pace. Having said that, it's only £6 in Sainsbury's, so it's well worth a read.
Is it a writer that we've already talked about tonight?
No.
Oh, because I think... Were you thinking of Mike then, Vic?
Constantly, every time One Star Superstar comes out, we go, is it Mike Craven? He's coming on. He's coming on the show. We shouldn't really do this every week. Is it Mike Craven?
This person's coming on the show.
He'll appreciate it. He'll appreciate it. He loves stuff like that.
Wait, so this person's coming on the show as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This person's coming on the show?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always, when I've hated a book, I always buy the audiobook just to make sure.
Yes, it's a shittily read of the shitty story that I really hate.
Oh, this terrible story is written by some...
A great actor, perhaps, but a terrible reader. Oh my God! You liked nothing about it. You didn't like the story. You didn't like the person reading it.
But it was only $6.99, so well worth the read.
It's all right, yeah. It was £6 in Sainsbury's. God damn it! I will force feed myself literature at that price.
Is it like a mega author?
Yeah, it's under a pseudonym. He's written as both names.
We've already had Alex North, haven't we? No, we haven't.
No, but that's
Alex North. It's the Whisper Man.
Yeah,
he's done it again. It's the Whisper Man, Alex North. Well done, that man.
Well done,
excellent.
Which I mean, that review is obviously bollocks because it's an amazing book.
Well,
I've still got it to read. It's on my shelf, but, see above, baby.
Well, maybe get the audiobook, because that sounds great.
Yes, apparently it's terrible, so why not,
Fair play.
I just love these weirdos who do this.
This is the whole point of One Star Superstar, that you just say, really? We all like that book.
Do you remember, last week I was almost literally disappointed.
One of the best
Almost
ever.
literally.
Right. Borovic's got to have a tea.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been delightful to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such fun.
It's been great to hang out with you, Vic.
Yeah, it's been cool.
Thank you for having me. Lovely to see you. Take care.
Night.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Night.
Bye-bye.